I'm absolutely stunned right now. Because you got to think about it. I'm not new to the channel. I've been around this channel since day one. And, of course, you have to understand that what I'm showing you is a consistent line of thought. And I'm forming all this into a visual picture. It's the same way that the Bible is presenting this to you. It's the same way that the prophets of old presented this to you. There was always a large picture. You got to think about the way Daniel presented, these kingdoms and formed it into this body made of this various metals. You got to think of the way that the beast has been described in various forms, from dragon, 7 heads, lions, all this stuff. Think about how all of these bits of information, once you're able to compile them together, they form something. They form, in a sense, a philosophical entity. And that's the way the fractal works. Everything is a working component working within itself, and it's working for a unified goal. There's many different administrative parts. Just like there is on the good side, so too is there on the bad side. So once you join all of these different, seemingly to you, separated administrations, you're looking at all this confusion, you're looking at all this deception, you think all these different organizations in a sense are different. You might be coming to realize now that they're really all working for the same goal. But once you really unify who they are and even the symbols that they're using, it creates something. If you're able to hold up the information in your mind, it creates exactly what's happening. It forms the bigger picture, and it will fit perfectly into the fractal. If you were viewing our world from, a high spirit understanding, if you were viewing our world from the spiritual abode, the heavenly spiritual abode, you would see all of this more or less happening as one thing, not a bunch of singular small things, and it would make itself appear more like one consistent picture, one consistent struggle between good and evil, and then the evil side would begin to formulate a structure, a picture, a philosophical entity, and then so too with the good. And then that's exactly what we see when you look at this with this view, with this vision that's able to hold up all the bits of information as one thing. It will form that picture. Okay? So what we're looking at is the clues and the symbolisms all for what we're talking about. So here we have the Trinity rule right up here, the power structure with the eye in the center. Now the eye in the center is the Antichrist. That's who they plan to bring about. It's also representing the control, how they're going to bring him about through this control of what the observer sees. Now we wanted to know where Babylon was. Babylon is the apple of the eye. It's right there in the center. Okay, so it's the same thing that we're showing here. So now when you look at this symbol, you can understand exactly what they're showing you. They're showing you the Trinity of power control with the Vatican at the center, DC over here, London over here. The plan is to bring this Antichrist, this eye, into fruition, but they have to manipulate all the other eyes to do it. Well, that manipulation is taking place by putting the apple as the main objective, the material goal, the temptation, the fruit for society. And at the same time, it's been the goal for them to corrupt material society. So it's also the apple and representation that's in their eye. So they're going to clear that objective out of their eye, making this commercial Babylon the main objective. So if you get my drift. So in order for these beings, these Danites and the Antichrist himself to appear in this golden age form, they have to remove this material shadow that they've spread over the land so that they themselves can be the ones that brings the light. So if they bring the light, this shadow is going to fade. It's going to be the very same shadow that they created, commercial Babylon, materialism. And remember, all that relates back to the carbon. And then the carbon is the shadow. Anything material will pass and fade away. I'll be back.